Welcome and Happy New Year 2022 to everyone. Welcome to Living News, our first episode for 2022. And we are so looking forward to journeying with you still. My name is Corinne.
Yeah, and I'm John, and we're just so excited to have you with us tonight. And look, and some of you may be watching it live, and other people may be watching it later on. But either way, we hope you really enjoy this program today. It's solid packed with great information, great segments in it, and some stuff that is really going to touch your heart. And so we're really looking forward to the program tonight, Corinne.
Absolutely. I have to say there's a lot of favorites in tonight's program, and I hope it's your favorite as well. So we want to introduce you to a health segment, and I actually love that clip. It's I don't want to say too much about it, But it's just a fun way of getting you to think about health. And yeah, I hope you enjoy it.
Choice to walk in fear and trembling, or claim the victory it makes me wish that I had stayed in there. The love to choose.
Oh, wasn't that great, Corinne?
Love it. You know what, Johnny? With the start of a new year, everyone is into making, New Year commitment. They're gonna do diets, they're gonna exercise, and things like that. So that was a great video to show that nutrition and exercise work very well hand in hand.
The good thing, though, Corinne, with this video, it shows that you don't have to spend a lot of money to do exercise. You can just do it in your own home,
Yeah.
and you can just go for a jog, or you can just go for a walk. Just walking, it costs nothing to go for a walk,
I know.
and it's so beneficial. And then looking at your food, because if we don't look after our health now, we'll have to we'll spend the money to look after it later. So
Absolutely.
it's really important to look after our health. So we're really enjoying that segment, and I just want to thank Bianca and Ginevelle and Jordan for putting that video clip together. It's just so inspiring that any little simple things can really help us.
I really like what you said. And you know what? My youngest son, some of you probably know, he does personal training. And he always says, Mum, whatever exercise you do, don't overdo it. Just do like 10 minutes, but be, doing it all the
Consistent.
time. That's the word.
Be consistent.
Consistent.
Yeah.
Be consistent. So I got myself an exercise bag this year because I thought, you know what, the food part, that's pretty good. So I got myself an exercise bag. And Bianca, I am nowhere near your standard of going like that. But I tell you what, I'm really happy because even 10 minutes a day doing a bit of exercise, I just feel so much better.
Yeah.
I choose Joy was a song. I feel joy.
Last episode we talked about mental health a bit, and it's really important that physical health, exercise helps us with our mental state as well. So if we can remember that, it's really good.
Thank you for bringing that up. That's a great point. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're just going to go to
So, Johnny, let me ask you something.
Yeah.
You ever heard of a vegetable called celeriac?
Celeriac, yes.
You did?
I have actually. You can get them in the supermarket, in any supermarket, in Coles, Woolies, or wherever you can get celeriac, or whatever it's pronounced. But I don't want to go too much into it, Corinne, because BB is actually going to share with us a really good recipe with using this ingredient.
Is that right?
And she'll explain what it actually is. So I don't want to burst the bubble.
Absolutely. Let's watch it.
Yeah.
My name is Bibi, and today I'd like to share with you one of my favorite recipes using celeriac. Celeriac is the unsung hero in vegetable world. People don't know what it is, how to use it. It's got very awkward shape, as you can see, and it is basically the root of celery. So celeriac you can use grated in salad, in soups, in stews. You can cook it as potato and mash it. But today we're gonna make a steak. So let's dive into the recipe. So first we've got to peel the celeriac. Once you've peeled it, we're going to slice it into 1 centimeter thick discs. Once you cut your celeriac, we're going to prepare our egg wash using besan flour, which is chickpea flour. And these are our herbs that we're going to, and spices that we're going to use. So we've got dried herbs, turmeric, sweet paprika, Himalayan salt. I'm going to use some steak seasoning and also minced garlic. So this is our chickpea flour that we're going to combine with water to create egg wash. So we've got our besan flour here. I'm going to add a little bit of water to create egg wash texture. So it can't be too runny, it can't be too thick. And carry on with the rest of your celeriac. Coat it well with your besan flour mixture, then throw it into your panko bowl, coat it well, done. Once you coated them all with your panko crumbs and with the mixture, all you have to do, you put it on pre-lined baking tray. You can fry it, but for healthier option, we're going to show you how to grill it. Once you lay everything out on your baking tray, it's time to whack it into the oven. Preheat your oven to 200 degrees Celsius and bake your steaks until golden brown for at least 40 minutes. But it depends on the oven. Just watch so it doesn't burn. You can drizzle with a little bit of oil. I'm going to leave it as it is for healthier option. Put it in the oven and bake it for 30 to 45 minutes, let's say. Let's see what happens. There you go. There you go. Your celeriac steaks are ready to be devoured. Let me see how they look inside once you cut them open. All right, let's have a look. There you go. It's nicely cooked and they are absolutely divine. I hope there we go, all done. That was quick and easy. The best thing about this recipe is that once you've coated it with your crumbs, with your besan flour, you can actually freeze it before you fry it, and then just pull it out and whack it frozen into your oven and roast it. So you can make a huge batch from them, and then just use them as you wish. You can use them in your burgers. You can use it as a main dish instead of meat. Why not have it Meatless Monday? Enjoy. So good. Please send me a message and I personally send you the written recipe for our celeriac steaks. Enjoy till we see you again.
Wow, Corinne, that made me hungry. I am really hungry now.
Well, I have to tell you, that was the first ever recipe of celeriac that I've heard of.
Okay.
So I was a bit apprehensive, but you know what? Bibi made it look so good.
And it was so easy.
So easy. Like, it's hot days at the moment. Who wants to be cooking over a stove? And so you know what?
Yep.
I took the challenge. If you're out there and you want something easy, like this dish that Bibi has done, I made it and I had some salad on the side for a hot day. Excellent. Very, very, very easy to make.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've got children and they say, Mom, what's for dinner? And you say, celeriac, they might be thinking, oh, I'm not eating that, But let me tell you, if you tell them how good this vegetable is, full of antioxidants, full of vitamins, all kind of vitamins, look it up, Google it. That's what I did. I Googled it. So it does wonderful things, anti-inflammatory and all this stuff. But still, what about taste?
Oh, well, I haven't actually tried cooking it, so it'd be interesting to say, you've got one prepared for us already.
Voila! This is one I prepared earlier. So, Johnny, Let's see whether celeriac is worth it.
Mmm.
Do you like it?
Mmm.
I think it's really good.
Mmm. Very nice.
For those of you who want to be a little bit, like minding the weight, this is actually could be like a substitute instead of potatoes. It's got lower carbs and it tastes really good. Like I like good food. Not just healthy, but it has to taste good.
I actually just thought of another recipe
another
that
bit?
you could actually use that as a base.
What's that?
You could bake it in a sauce as well.
Yeah, I'm sure you could do like a
So,
parmigiana,
yeah.
mashed potato, whatever. One with it, but it's absolutely delicious. Want another bite?
Okay. I'll grab a piece.
I'll tell you what, it is nice. Honestly, easy to make. And where's yours? Sorry, Sam, I'll send it through the mail. But it is delicious. Delicious. So thank you, Bibi. You did great. That's a really good one. That's one you want to keep in the recipe book, that one, for sure.
I'm looking forward to the next recipe. And the last one we had, last episode was great too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So awesome. Now, while we're thinking about that and while we're finishing up our food, just want to remind you, don't forget to send us a message, either through Facebook or YouTube. And don't forget to like us as well. And so we've got some really interesting stuff happening.
Absolutely, absolutely. Penguin, you should try this recipe. You'll love it.
Corinne, I'm actually really looking forward to our next segment.
Okay.
So I'm just going to let an introduction happen first.
Ooh.
And then we'll talk about it.
Let's do that.
So this spotlight, Corinne,
Yeah.
is spotlighting an organisation called ADRA.
Oh, yeah.
It's ADRA, ADRA, and so the what was I going to say now? It's just so exciting because they do such a good work
I agree.
all over the world. In
I
nearly
agree.
every country of the world, they've got ADRA, and they're helping those in there. But I want to go into too much detail. What I'd like to do is just to give a little intro clip about ADRA and some of the work that they're doing, and then we'll actually talk to the director of ADRA Victoria.
That's great.
We are striving towards a world where everyone can live as God intended, where every kid is fed, every family has access to clean water, and every child can finish school. We partner with vulnerable communities to address their greatest needs, helping them to overcome poverty. In times of disaster, we are there, supporting those who've been affected. Our teams are on the ground, working with communities to help rebuild. At home in Australia, we partner with Seventh-day Adventist churches to reach those who are falling between the cracks. We meet people where they're at to provide hot meals, counselling, and a sense of community. All of this is made possible with the help of our incredible supporters. Join us today to make a difference.
So, Corinne, as you know, the philosophy behind Living News is about good news and sharing the good news. And that's what this is about. And what ADRA do, they provide a lot of good news and good support to people. So I'd like to actually introduce the director of ADRA Victoria to join us live with us. Hi, Beck. How are you?
Hi, Beck.
Hi, good, Johnny. Hi, Corinne.
Thank you for joining us this evening.
Yes, thanks for having me.
You're on mute, I think. Did you know that that's the most common used phrase in the last couple of years, is that you're on mute?
You're on mute, Beck.
We did test all this and it was working fine. Beck did mention, though, that she's having some trouble with sound.
Yeah. So for those of you who may be watching later, we're filming from Melbourne, Victoria, and the weather here has been really hot, over 30 degrees for quite a number of days. And this afternoon, it just finished off with a storm, a thunderstorm. So that's kind of marked up a bit of the internet. And that's hence Beck we appreciate
think
that
it's
you've
our
done
end.
your best to actually, be here with us, beside having internet problems.
Yeah, it looks like
Yeah,
everyone can hear
You
except
can
for
hear?
us. So it's our speaker is not working.
Is that
But
right?
yep.
Oh,
So it was working before, but it stopped working. So while Jim is just fixing
can
it
you hear
for
me
us,
now, Johnny, Corinne?
Luca's the best. He knows how
it's
to
on
fix
pause.
everything. So some of you would have done a lot of volunteer with ADRA. ADRA is actually an organization that I'm very passionate about. I love mingling with, well, I won't say too much, but people who have come, to get a warm meal or to get some food for the week, and I love to hear it.
I can't hear Johnny.
The story, Jonathan's story, while we
Can you
resolve
hear us,
this.
Beck?
I can hear you
Let's
now.
hear it.
Okay,
Oh,
it's all
yes,
working
we
great.
can hear you.
Okay, we're back together.
That's
Sorry about this technical
wonderful.
issue. That
These things
don't know what
happen.
happened. I don't know.
Bad
This
weather.
thunderstorm is creating havoc
It's
with everything.
Yeah, we're so thankful
So,
that we can hear you.
so welcome back. We're really excited to have you share this time with us. And sorry, I've got a crumb from my silk. Yeah.
That's all right. We're really, really excited, and I know that we were just saying that how passionate we are about ADRA, the organization, and we've just got to. We want to know a little bit more. Maybe some of you watching don't know a little bit about ADRA, and we just want to give you a bit of information because it is a great organization.
So, Rebecca, what is ADRA?
Johnny, well, you mentioned before about ADRA, stands for the Adventist Development and Relief Agency. So we're the humanitarian agency of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. And you saw on the clip before that we actually operate in over 110 countries. What people might not know is the key sectors that we operate in, which is health and wellbeing, livelihoods, and disaster relief. So it's been really interesting. In the last 12 months, ADRA has actually responded to over 16 disasters. And the latest one is actually the tsunami in Tonga. So please keep the people of Tonga in your prayers, because ADRA is currently on the ground there supporting with food, water, shelter, cash grants. The situation is very dire.
Yeah,
Wow.
absolutely. We'll do that. Yeah.
And what's your role in ADRA Victoria, Rebecca?
You're breaking up, Johnny. Sorry, what did you say?
What's your role in ADRA Victoria?
Okay, I got the end of that. My role in ADRA is the state director. So I oversee about 27 projects in Victoria. They also are in the key sectors of health, wellbeing, livelihoods and disaster relief. But if we unpack it a little bit more, the support services that we offer range from food relief. We also have social enterprises, so our op shops in Victoria that support people in need. We have our livelihood programs, so we're looking at employment and education for clients in the NDIS system. And we also have disaster relief as well. So we were a strong player in regards to the storms at Yarra Ranges. We actually supported the storms twice. And it was actually our wonderful work of BB and the team there at Casey that actually provided the food relief support to many people who had lost power. Without BB and the team, they support over 5,000 people a week in Casey alone. So
Wow.
amazing job
That's a
there.
lot of people.
And I know
BB is amazing on a
I
team.
saw BB before, and I got a bit of a surprise for you, BB, if you're watching. This is the Think Outside the Can cookbook.
Ooh.
And it's actually been translated into Persian for our Afghan friends. It's part of the multicultural funding that we got this year from the government, state government.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Mm.
I like that there's no barriers with ADRA. Someone needs help, and we are there to help them no matter what. Their
So,
background, their religion, anything. We're just there to offer support.
so
Yes,
what's
Johnny?
the difference with ADRA then? What's the ADRA difference?
I really think it
You know,
comes
there's
down
lots of
to,
charities out there.
yeah, that we treat people in the image of God. I think that's the most important difference that we have, that we don't treat people like a number waiting in line or a statistic. And how does that equate to, when we're practically, we don't give out, use by date food. We look people in the eyes. We don't give out food that we wouldn't eat. I think it's really about treating people, like how God would treat people. And in regards to, it really does resemble biblical justice, because, biblical justice is about reflecting God's pure character. And that's really important because, and it shows on our T-shirts of, justice, compassion, and love. And that's what we're all about. And I'd like to add to that, it's really about humility as well. And that we walk alongside people. We don't walk in front. And I've learnt a lot being at ADRA, and how we really need to respect people and treat people, because at any point in time, if I lost my job, hopefully not tonight, that I could be in need of a food parcel, So yeah, it's really important to have that biblical mindset of God's pure character.
Beck, I've got a really important question that I think plays on a lot of people's minds, that there are so many charities out there, and sometimes people are scared that when they contribute to the charity, that all their money's going into paying people. You talked about you've got 27 different programs happening. Are all these people paid? How does it work?
Great question, Johnny.
Yeah, great question. So we have over 400 volunteers across Victoria alone. And yeah, I'm the only paid person in Victoria. So when you look at that, it really, we wouldn't be able to exist without our volunteers. So, and it's how our volunteers operate with that character of that biblical justice character. They just go the extra mile. I don't know what I would do without our amazing volunteers. For example, we had during the bushfires in 2020 in Bairnsdale, the tragic bushfires, there was a survivor of the bushfires. She actually drove over 100 kilometres to go and see a volunteer that she had connected with the week before, because that volunteer, treated her like a person, treated her like a friend. And that's probably the most important thing about being a volunteer.
Yeah, it's you talked about, when you are serving them, when you are helping them, that you treat them as a person, and then you see them and you look at them in the eyes. I love what you said. Beck, I've known you for a long time, and I know for about 14 years you have been working with ADRA. You say that you are the only person that actually is paid, but honestly, I think the amount that you put in, your passion for ADRA is just amazing. So, what are some of the things that you have learned in those 14 years having worked for ADRA?
Yeah, I've learned so much. I guess if we go back in time a little, I really struggled in high school. I really struggled with my identity with Christ, my relationship with Christ, and my mental health. And coming to ADRA, it made me really reflect that focusing on others rather than focusing on myself actually really helped my mental health. And the whole thing around being generous actually brings you lots of joy. So I really, without ADRA, I don't know where I'd be today, honestly. And Johnny, I call him Uncle Johnny because I've known him most of my life too.
This is the one here.
Oh,
Yeah.
thanks, Corinne.
Yes, we
It
all
also
need to
really,
do
yeah, like it's like family, when you're part of
Yeah.
the church. And I did feel like really kind of worthless, in high school, in the sense of I felt like I wasn't worthy to be part of the Bible studies, because people used to say to me, well, can't you hear him, Beck? Don't you feel his presence? And I was like, I actually don't. And I was raised Seventh-day Adventist from a young age, come from a history of a line of, my granddad is Pastor Bill Otto. And why can't I hear God? And it really came down to the point of someone actually involving me in volunteer work. And as soon as I came out of myself and actually focused on others and hearing stories of people and their struggle, it really, really changed my life. So since learning about this, I really try and provide opportunities for youth to get involved, because historically, ADRA's really been about those who are in retirement volunteering. And so I really, and through the youth department as well, and great partnership with Phil Hyland and Rosemary and the team there, Global Youth Day has been really important to get young people involved. So,
Yeah,
that's what I recommend.
absolutely. Absolutely. There's a great healing in reaching out to others, because you also find out, as you already know, Beck, that just because you think you're having it bad and then you start talking to somebody else and think, wow, I thought I had problems. This person is really struggling. It just puts everything into perspective, and you think, well, I shouldn't really be complaining or feeling that bad because
Yeah.
somebody out there is worse off than me.
I was actually reading a book this week about, by focusing on other people, that helps us in our mental state as well. So by helping other people, it helps us. And so you were talking about, volunteers and that. So how do people get involved? How do people volunteer?
Oh, very easy, Johnny. They just have to go to the website, which is adra.org.au/volunteer. And there's so many areas. If you think of a person and their giftedness, and that's pretty much the ADRA difference too. We can accept people that want to support our community centres as far as, cleaning, cooking, gardening, being a mentor. So important to walk alongside someone and share their experience and learn from them as well. That's really important.
Yeah.
Go to the website.
Okay. One last question before we move on, because we've got some other really exciting things happening. But we really appreciated your contribution and all the work that you're doing, Rebecca. And so just want to wish you all the best. But in conclusion, are you able to tell me is there any stories or anything like that you want to share of how it's impacted people's lives?
Yeah, I actually have this one story from ADRA Casey, which I think is really relevant to tonight, and in regards to the cookbooks as well, because it actually focuses on one of the Afghanistan ladies that we've been supporting. So if I can just read this, it'd be really good. So Ali and her sisters came to us at the start of COVID. They were very shy, very reserved, and embarrassed to ask for food. After a few months, as we got to know them, we learnt that back in their country, they were very wealthy, but due to the regime, all was taken away from them. They were embarrassed to ask for food. Our team made them feel loved and assured them there is no judgment, because we know how it feels to ask for food, as many of our volunteers have been in the very same situation. The sisters became so comfortable with us that they share about their family's issues and problems. Recently, one of the sisters' husbands went missing back in Afghanistan due to the Taliban attacks. They asked if we can please pray for them. It was heartwarming to know that they can trust us and are comfortable to approach us with such a delicate request. We all hugged and cried together. Weekly, they bring a plate of home-cooked food, which is actually vegan because most of the volunteers are plant-based, as you know, with BB's cooking. And so they bring it as a token of appreciation for our hard work. Love and a word of hope is such a powerful medicine that brings people together regardless of religion, creed, or skin colour.
Love it.
That's awesome.
Love
That's
it.
amazing. Now, you did tell me once about a story, a guy called Jonathan. And in conclusion, we're going to actually play a video clip about Jonathan. And again, just thank you very much for your time and coming on to Living News today.
Thank you, Beck.
Thanks so much.
Thank you for all
let's
your
have a look
great
at
work.
this clip on Jonathan.
Love it.
About 4 years ago, my world changed dramatically for the worse. My name's Jonathan, and I'm from Melbourne. We went from being normal to having nothing and being out on the streets looking for somewhere to squat and entering a world that I didn't even suspect existed. Ended up shifting around a bit, stumbled across an empty factory. It was cold and lonely in winter and hot and lonely in summer. As a parent, it was rather brutal not being able to provide my kids with a proper house. We just slipped through the cracks incredibly quickly. Just feeling that we didn't matter and nobody cared. It was really, really horrible. After about a year and a half of struggling, somebody told us to try Vive Cafe. Vive Cafe provided groceries, basic staples that we were struggling to get elsewhere. Friendship without judgment, the feeling that you're a person and you matter. I think that alone is worth more than any other thing.
I first met Jonathan 2 years ago. He was homeless, hungry and struggling to provide for his 3 kids. We were able to provide Jonathan with food, clothing, warmth and church.
Even just for one night a week, it just made people feel human again and feel like they mattered. Gave people back some dignity. And we went there thinking we're going to be uncomfortable because it's religious and they're going to try and push the religion upon us. And it turned out to be exactly the opposite of what we thought, and it was just really friendly. And it's restored my faith in humanity for sure. Since we've gotten back on our feet and found a house, the boys have thrived. My boys and I volunteer because the greatest need is for companionship and friendship. And if people don't get that, they lose that touch with humanity. They really have nothing. If every person did just a tiny bit to help, we could end homelessness and poverty in Australia very quickly. It's just everybody doing a small bit.
Wow, that clip really touched my heart because Jonathan was just like us. Like you said, he was a normal person one day, and next thing you know, he was on the streets. Having gone through a couple of years of COVID, a lot of people have actually lost their jobs. They've had to maybe move back at home with mum and dad, and Jonathan, it's a really good ending. How being involved with ADRA has changed his life, and not just his life, but his children's life as well. But what I do love what he said, something that really touched my heart, Johnny. He said that ADRA was friendship without judgment.
Mm-hmm.
The feeling that you are a person and you matter. As Christians, we are told to love our neighbor. And you can tell that Beck and her team do it out of love. And it's just beautiful. I love those stories. And I would encourage you, if you're thinking about it, you watch that video or you know someone that needs help, to reach out to ADRA, or yourself. If you've got some spare time, volunteer. I've done it, and it's great just listening to the people. Sometimes you don't even have to do anything, but just to listen, have an ear, and not be judgmental.
Yeah.
I loved
That's
it.
awesome. Well, Corinne, I'm actually looking forward to our next segment, which is a story of somebody's life that's been changed. And but what I need to highlight here is that there may be some disturbing comments made, or you may affect some people. So parents, you might just be wary of this if you've got any children watching at the time, because it could be quite touching, and so just be careful of that. But it is a story that is really important, and we
Yeah.
really need to share.
We do.
And this story is actually out of the book that we gave away at episode 1, Corinne. And one of the people that was in that book, in one of the chapters, is
That's right.
telling their story now. And so,
That's right. And also, Johnny, I thank you for mentioning the kids, but also if you're an adult and you're finding some of the information a little bit confronting, I like that word, remember the Lifeline number, 131114 is always available. But we just felt like we wanted to really be real. We don't want to hide anything. And this person that's in that video, we've known her for a long time, but let me tell you that I never knew that story that she was about to share.
yeah, it's amazing, isn't it?
Amazing.
And
yeah.
as I mentioned it in our last episode, that sometimes people are going about life and they're struggling, and we don't know.
Yeah.
So just always be on the alert to for anybody that you think may be struggling, and just really try to support them and help them as much as you can. But let's have a quick look at this this
Yeah,
clip.
let's do that.
Hi, my name is Lorraine, and I'll be telling my testimony today. When I was about 14 or 15 years old, I started feeling like I didn't really belong here. I started feeling lonely and worthless, and there was always like a darkness underneath that just kept creeping up all the time. I put it down to being a teenager, and I just tried to ignore it and thought that I would grow out of these feelings. But when I finished high school, I went to TAFE and university, and I was working as well, and just trying to keep myself busy, because the moment that I stopped being busy, I would feel those feelings of worthlessness and loneliness again, and feelings that I didn't belong here. When I finished university, when I was 22 years old, I decided to go to Mauritius for 6 months for a holiday, just to celebrate graduating and just celebrate life. And I decided to also take a holiday from God. I had a conversation with him, and I said, God, I've been doing it your way for 22 years and nothing seems to change. I still feel these feelings of worthlessness, and I think I'm going to do things my way now, just to see if I can do life better without you. So I went to Mauritius. I didn't take my Bible, and I was still attending church because my family is Seventh-day Adventist over there, but I wasn't praying. I wasn't doing any of that. And I started drinking and partying and having sex and just living a life that was so opposite to what I had been brought up to live. But while I was living that life, I thought, wow, this is great. You know, I'm feeling happy. I'm not feeling those feelings of sadness anymore. Now I know why people do this. Now, I didn't want to come back to Australia. I had got my passport and I wanted to stay in Mauritius, but my sister got married, so I had to come back. And when I came back, all the feelings of loneliness and worthlessness and all the darkness just came back with a force. I had let go of God's hand before I left, and I felt so alone and so worthless. That year I got a job straight away, and I was working, and from the outside things looked good. I was still going to church, I was still involved in choir and doing worship services and doing whatever I could to be involved in the church, but I did not want to be there, and I did not want to be in this world. That year was just a really tough year for me. I remember going to big camp and feeling so weird because everyone was so in love with God, and I just didn't feel that, and I didn't want to be there. And that's where I was at that moment in time. I didn't want to be around people who were in love with God, and I didn't want to be around people who were going out clubbing and partying. I just wanted to be alone. And that's how the whole year went. My friends would ask me, let's go out for coffee, let's go out for dinner, and I would just tell them no automatically. But after some convincing, I would always go out, but I just, I zoned out. I let the conversations flow over me. I wasn't there mentally. My prayers in the morning would be, God, please help me to have an accident so I can die on the way to work. And at night time, I would pray that God would just kill me in my sleep because I didn't want to wake up the next day. Even though I was feeling all these feelings, I was still happy and bubbly, on social media, and people who didn't really know me thought that I had my life together. But those who did know me could see that there was something wrong. And there would be times where I was at church and people would come up to me and say, Lorraine, I'm praying for you. Because they could see, they've known me since I was a baby, they could see that there was something not quite right and that my smile wasn't true. My family knew that there was something wrong, and they were always praying for me as well, and just taking extra precautions. So I was very blessed during that time to have my church family, my family, and my friends surrounding me, just supporting me, even though they didn't know quite how to help me. They knew that there was something wrong. Later that year, when I was praying one of my prayers at night, so God could kill me, I heard a voice in my room that said, just do it already. And I knew it wasn't God. I knew it was the devil. It was not a nice voice. And in that split second, a scene flashed in my head to get a scarf from my wardrobe and hang myself. And I thought, yeah, that's it. I'm going to do it. But before I did, I got scared because I'm like, this is it. I'm actually going to do this. But before I had the chance, something deep down inside just welled up and bubbled over, and I prayed my first real prayer in probably over a year. And I just said, God, whatever this is, take it away from me. And in that instant, like the presence I felt in my room just left, and I felt peace, and I fell asleep. Now I wish I could say that the next morning everything was great and life was, life was the best, but it wasn't. I still felt like I wanted to die. I still felt like I didn't want to be here. But God had grabbed my hand. I was drowning and He lifted me up from the water, and I wasn't going to let that go again. So instead of praying, asking God to kill me, I prayed and said, God, please help today to be better than yesterday. And Lord, please help me to stop feeling these feelings. So it took me a while. It took about probably another 6 to 8 months after that of praying and working with God to realize that, wow, God actually loves me. Full stop. There's no, I don't have to do anything. He loves me. And that's when I really felt peace with Him and peace with myself. And I tell you this so that I know lots of people are going through similar situations, or they're feeling similar things, and life is not always great and things don't always feel quite right, especially after the last 2 years. But I want you to know that God is there, even if you don't feel Him, even if you don't want Him to be there, He is there. And even if you cannot pray for yourself, He is touching other people around you to pray for you, to intercede on your behalf. And I just want you just to hold on. I know life might seem not good at the moment, but just hold on. Things will get better, and God will always be there. So thank you so much for listening.
Wow.
Wow. Well, first and foremost, I want to say, Lorraine, thank you for your courage.
Thank you.
To share that, because, if we want to be real, pretty much we've all experienced some kind of depression on different levels throughout our lives. And if you are watching and you know someone, or if yourself you are struggling with depression at the moment, I want to encourage you to reach out. You can reach out to us on Living News if you wish. Lorraine talked about people who prayed for her when she couldn't pray for herself. And this is a great ending, by the way. This is we bring these stories because we know that prayer works. if you know someone, and if you know, or yourself, like I said, if you want us to pray, pray for you. God can make miracles. Please get in touch with us. How do people get in touch with us?
They can message us or private message us at Living News, and we've got a few people. We've got Pam and we've got Sam that will interact with you on Facebook and YouTube, and just communicate with us, and they'll pray for you, or they've got friends, or we've got an organisation or group of people that we have that pray for people.
Yeah.
So they're called prayer warriors.
Yeah.
And these prayer warriors will be happy to pray for you. Just contact us, as I said, through Facebook or YouTube, and we'll pray for you.
Absolutely. You are special. And we love you. So reach out to us if you need to.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lorraine. That was really courageous and very real. And so I hope that you can feel that. And if you need help, please reach out to someone today. Good. We're finishing on...
not quite actually finishing yet.
Not yet, but it's getting towards the end.
There,
it's a beautiful, beautiful...
Bruno at our last episode put together a really beautiful clip. Yeah. And he has actually been in contact with people that put this clip together.
Is that right?
And they've given us permission or authority to actually play this clip, and it's just so inspiring how... Let me not talk about it too much. I want you to listen to it, and then I'll talk a bit more about it. Thank you.
One voice, one mission. One voice, one mission.
Trials press me down among the toughest battlegrounds.
Storms will come around and take me by surprise, but won't get me down.
There's a melody inside me. There's a friend that holds me up.
That is Jesus Christ. He is my song. He's the one who keeps me strong. I will sing for my Lord, for all the world to hear.
One voice, one mission, I'll share far and near.
To tell the world with all my heart that Jesus comes again. One voice, one mission, together we'll sing for Him.
I can't stay silent for a while. The Lord has made my frown a smile.
Since He came to me, I have been set free. I will share it for all to see.
There is something you can offer.
There is something you can bring.
Let us do our part.
It's a brand new start.
It's our mission to impart.
Sing for our Lord, for all the world to hear. One voice, one mission. Let us share Him far and near. To tell the world with all our hearts that Jesus comes again. One voice, one mission. Together we'll sing.
Awesome. Awesome. I just love how, there's so many people from all over the world,
Yep, USA,
all different
Philippines.
skill sets
Mhm.
have come together to make something so beautiful. And so I really appreciate that, and I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I did too. And there's the lyrics of that song also says, "Whenever trials press me down, there's a friend that holds me up." And that same friend, that same hand that helped Lorraine come out of depression, that friend is Jesus, and he wants to hold your hand wherever you're at and help you out as well and hold you up.
Amen. Thank you very much, Corinne. And now we're going to do a book review.
Ooh, we are beautiful Sylvia.
Hi everyone. Hi Johnny. Hi Corinne. It's really exciting to be here for book review number 2 on Living News. And today, just jumping straight in, I want to be able to just recommend this wonderful little book, and it's called The Command by Bruce Manners. And what caught my attention was probably the very first line, which says, "As a pastor, only once did I want to punch one of my parishioners. I wanted to punch him in the mouth, hard. I was sitting across from him in the office and I was frustrated. I was angry." What an opening line. Now, of course, Bruce did not punch his parishioner. And I only share that because it is, I think, just a glimpse of Bruce's way of being able to write in a really fun, light-hearted way, but also that he's able to tackle topics and take us deeper, but with a sense of humour and a little bit of lightness. What I really loved about this book is not just the way that it was written and the content, but I also really enjoyed that at the end of every chapter, Bruce has a series of questions. And I think when you're reading, having that opportunity to pause and take a moment to reflect on what you've just read by answering some questions allows you to go a little deeper with the content itself and allow it to really sink in. So this month, this is the book that I'm encouraging you to pick up, The Command by Bruce Manners. And once more, I'm really excited to be able to say that we have one copy of this book to give away. And so if you would like to go in the draw to win a copy of the book, The Command by Bruce Manners, this is your opportunity now to pop your name in the chat or send us a message through Facebook, and we will put you in the draw to win a copy of this book. Just, I guess, to give you a little bit of context of what this book is about, on the back of the book we read, "Why is it that we remember the thou shalt nots of the 10 Commandments in the Old Testament better than the 4 thou shalts of Jesus in the New Testament? The commands, love the Lord your God with all your heart, love your neighbour as yourself, love one another, and love your enemies." The overarching command is to love, and that's what this book is about. So I hope that you are able to get your hands on it and that you will enjoy this awesome book. And as I said, if you'd like to go in the draw to receive your own free copy, I've got one to give away this month. Pop your name in the chat and we will look forward to drawing that in a week's time. All right, everyone, take care. Until next month, keep reading.
Thank you, Sylvia. You choose all the right books. And I love the one that you chose for today because it talks about, the book is The Command, talking about learning to love like Jesus. And we can all do with some learning to how to love others better, your enemies, each other, and treat people with respect. ADRA comes to my mind again.
I agree. Like every segment today was about love and about treating other people with kindness and compassion, which is just, what Living News is about. It's just the good news to everyone. And so we're really, just great book. And I just like the little bit that was in black where it says to love like Jesus.
Yes.
And I also like the other bit too where she talks about we tend to look at negative things, but there's so many positive things that we can look at And when we love people, we'll see all that.
Absolutely. It's been a great program.
It's been a great program, Corinne. I really enjoyed it.
I have loved it. Have you loved it?
Yeah, I've loved it. And look, folks, if you've enjoyed this as well, just don't forget to share it with your friends, your family, neighbours, whoever. Forward it on Facebook and YouTube, and so other people can benefit from these blessings as well. And don't forget also to subscribe to Living News, because as you subscribe, you'll get updates and things. So if you, I think there's a little banner that I was going to put up, Sylvia can put up in relation to subscribing. So there you go on Facebook. If you go to Facebook, you can go to follow, follow there, or go to share on Facebook. But you can also do it on YouTube. So on YouTube, there's a subscribe button, or the like button as well. So if you do that, and share it as well, because that way more people will benefit from this program.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sounds great. Well, thank you for joining us again, and we look forward to seeing you again. And reach out to us if you want to. And God bless you.
God bless. And have a good time. And we'll look forward to the next episode. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.